Transom windows never go out of style, and it's little wonder. Whether your goal is to allow light from one space to another, to create ventilation for a room, or just to make a statement, a transom window is a great option that is relatively inexpensive and simple to add. I recently built one for our space when we moved a wall and framed a new, larger doorway into the master bedroom. My goal was to communicate natural light to the hallway, but the bonus was that the door looks so much more impressive, and it even makes the 8-foot ceilings look higher. I'm going to focus the bulk of instructions on how to build the box that holds the glass, but here is a quick look at how the window is framed out above the door. So what we're looking at here is that we've got the 2x4 framing the wall itself, and then we have the 2x4 header to this door is under here. And then what I did was I just simply framed this out, and all I'm going to do is create a box. A simple box that will step this down even more. So instead of a 4.5-inch wide opening, we'll have something like a 3.25 inch. I'm going to use 2x4s. I'm going to run them through the planer and clean them up. Because I'm going to paint this anyway, I don't really feel the need to use any fancy hardwoods. I was going to, but it seems kind of pointless now. So let's go to the shop. We've got the wood cut up, and let's get it cleaned up and show you how we build a box for this. As I said, I started by cleaning up some 2x4s. This material forms the top, bottom, and sides of the box that will hold the glass. Planing the wood takes off those rounded corners. I then filled all of the knots with Bondo and sanded the patches smooth so that the surface of the wood would be as clean as possible. Here you can see those 2x4 pieces set up in the box form. Obviously every space is different, so I can't give any measurements here. Just be sure to measure every part of your header space, as it is unusual for anything in a home to be square. The inner layer of wood for my transom window is poplar. I first tested the thickness just to see how it looked, then decided to take it down a bit on the planer. This is largely a matter of how you want the window to look. There really isn't a wrong way. I then fit the poplar pieces once more, and that looked pretty good, but maybe a bit too square, so I softened up the edges with a round over bit on my trim router. I then glued those pieces to the frame, making sure to allow space at the ends of the long 2x4s for the poplar pieces to notch together. Clamp that tightly and let it dry. Next, we need to make space for the glass to sit in the wood. You'll want to obtain your piece of glass, or plexiglass, or acrylic, or whatever first to determine thickness. I then found a correspondingly sized router bit and routed a groove for the glass right down the carefully located middle of each board. This cut pretty much through the poplar layer, so having it really bonded on there with the glue was important before proceeding to this step. And as you can see, I routed that groove on all 4 sides of the frame. Now it's time to put it all together. I used acrylic for this project because it was thick, inexpensive, and came without as much fear that I would somehow break it over tightening a clamp or trying to get it into the header space. Be sure to do a dry assembly first to test that everything fits correctly. I used a bit of rapid fuse glue in the grooves and wood glue on the parts where the 2x4 frame comes together to lock everything up. I did not use mechanical fasteners, both to minimize the risk of breakage and to allow for adjustments as I fit the box into the header. It looks pretty good, right? You can absolutely stop right there, give it a coat of paint, and install it. I decided, however, that I wanted one more layer. And this was probably the trickiest part of the entire build. I actually created this little bit of bead molding by running some scrap wood through my router table and then cutting it to thickness on the table saw. I then mitered the corners together using a hand saw. Miters were necessary because otherwise the rounded over sections won't line up. Again, consider this part optional. You can also use smaller sections of square wood to create this additional layer. Now, on my first install attempt, the window was just a bit too wide, so here you can see me taking off a little bit of material with a hand plane. And here we go for a second attempt. Like I said, it was a pretty close fit, maybe a bit too tight, but I really didn't want it rattling around up there. If you do have to bang it into place, be sure to use a sacrificial board so that nothing gets dinged or broken. Secure it all in place with a brad nailer through the 2x4 layer into your header, keeping clear of the glass. I don't have a video of this for some reason, but the next step is to caulk all of those layers so that it looks seamless and then paint the wood. As you can see, it turns out looking like it has always been there. I love our new doorway. Here's a look at what it used to look like and what it looks like today. It truly feels like a master bedroom now. I love the natural light that is brought into the hallway through our room and the feeling that the doorway is more than its actual 8-foot height. So how about it? Would you install the transom window in your home? There are a number of different styles, of course, and I hope that this one gets you thinking about how you might build a transom window and is helpful in determining how to go about doing so. Thanks for following along. Be sure to check out www.thecreatedhome.com for more information and DIY tutorials, and of course, subscribe to this channel.